Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alvarado, and I'm the Chief Officer of Teaching, Office of Teaching and Learning in the City of Chicago, Chicago Public Schools. We had a very productive conversation this morning about how we are moving forward. We have decided to really focus on our next steps and how we're going to hold each other accountable in committing to these next steps. I do want to start with our district mission and vision, because every work we do, we have to make sure we are aware and grounding all our thinking around what this means for our students, our 365,000 students, 80% of which are students in poverty. And therefore, committing to a high-quality public education for every student in every neighborhood, no matter what your zip code is really at the core of the work we do, and I have to say, the work of the National Institute. I am so privileged for these 2 days. I'm thanking our Chief Education Officer, LaTanya McDade, who couldn't come here for the 2 days, so she sent me. So I already texted her, thank you. Because as my role as Chief Officer of Teaching and Learning, it fits so much into the work that these incredible teachers and fellows from Chicago are doing. We have one tenet in our mission, which is all about academic progress. And there are two categories under that tenet. First is highly empowered educators, because we believe that the school is a unit of change, and we can only do that if, even from the central office level, we will commit to empowering our teachers and allow them to have a voice in all the professional learning design and have a voice in what makes them really incredibly effective in front of children. And we have to honor that with our commitment. Where do we put our funds? Where do we allocate our resources? Has to really speak to that. The second is about rigorous instruction. And we all have different definitions of rigor. But when I sat yesterday and listened to the fellows present their units, that to me was the ultimate definition of rigor. That it taps into what makes kids excited about learning. It really taps into what teachers can produce and understand about the kids in front of them and create mirrors and windows in their classroom for kids. So that is really the foundation of where we were coming from during our conversation, and I'm going to share with you our next steps. First, we recognize there are already structures that are existing across the district that we want to capitalize on and we want to use. And the first one is the professional learning design. In the Office of Teaching and Learning, we have what we call the learning summits that happens throughout the year. Our district is divided into 17 networks to make the scale of the work more manageable. And each one of these networks are led by a network chief, and I used to be one for about 6 years. I will work very closely with the network chiefs and the core directors in my department that produces these summits to incorporate the work of unit development that I have seen through our fellows this week. We are going to make sure that the teachers who attend these summits see exemplars of what quality design, standards-based, culturally relevant, meaningful content pedagogy will be put in front of every teacher who attend the summit. And that is a pretty large scale of teachers in every network. Our second commitment, every month, my department releases a teacher newsletter. I am committing to allocating a column in that newsletter devoted to the Yale National Initiative, where these teachers will be presenting and showcasing their units through that newsletter. I'm gonna have a photo of them, their little background, but more importantly, how their work is improving and how is it being used as a lever for change in their classrooms. The third one, I committed to visiting each of their classroom. Yay! Because only when I see the actual learning going on in the classroom does it really makes more sense to me. Not just the design of the unit, but talking to students about how these designs are really impacting them as learners. Part of our mission is for students to become civically engaged, and therefore these units are so much of that, but I want to see that for myself. Next, I've already allocated substitute money because I want the fellows to visit each other's classrooms as well, because there is more power in them seeing their work and showcasing it to their fellows, co-fellows. So I'm very excited about that. Those are real concrete ways. Next, in pursuit of the next round of fellow participants and candidates, I've shared with them that what I think would be really powerful is if we introduce the Yale Initiative, is we ask the principals to be there, and I know they've worked with Jim targeting certain schools in our district. We're going to invite the principal of these schools. We're going to invite the network chief from these schools, and more importantly, we're going to invite the teachers. And they will have the opportunity to at least ask questions. Our fellows will have the opportunity of sharing how this has impacted their practice over time. More importantly, we will pursue our university partners that at this point is still tentative with how they're going to commit to this work. We have many university partners, but this is a real priority for me. I will make sure to meet with our CEO and our Chief Education Officer next week to make sure to pursue this conversation and get a final answer so that we know how we will move forward. It's important for our teachers upcoming to this program to feel that an external partnership and support is vital to sustaining the success of this program. So those really are the main doable things. And we wanted to be ambitious, but we also wanted to be realistic and feel that we could set some benchmarks and feel successful in these very explicit action steps. So, to Lily, Brandon, Aaron, Laura, Nancy, Stephanie, Sharon, and Leah, you have been an inspiration this week. From the bottom of my heart, nothing else will change education. We can never close the gap until we really invest in our teachers, and I firmly believe that. You can count on me on making sure these commitments don't stay in my notebook, but really actualize itself. I feel good. I feel good leaving this place, but I know it's only the beginning. So thank you to all of you who take time to do this work, because it really is about urban education for all our kids. Thank you.